When writing code, it's always important to try and keep it as clean as possible. So let's try and clean up this code a bit. It's starting to get a bit messy. Let's try and see some of the things we can actually do with the code here, because right now the console read line actually ends up in being a name string right here. And do I really need that? Well, honestly, I could just directly, instead of having the local variable, I could just do like this and then actually remove this if I wanted to. Let's just do that, and then I'll get an error. But now notice that I'm doing the console read line that returns the string, and as I said before, I can now on that string go to lower and ask if it contains an L. But notice here I'm trying to reuse that actual string again and again. Okay, let's try and do something else, because I don't even need this variable right here, which is a Boolean value right now, because I could actually put that directly into the loop right here. Now it starts getting a bit crazy to read, and that's going to be my second point here, because this might be less code, a lot less code actually. Let's see if it works before I'll keep talking about it. I'll start the program again, type in a name. Let's write John. Okay, that name doesn't contain an L. Let's write Bill. That name does contain an L. You can exit. So now we've made all of this in pretty much a single line of code inside the while loop there. But is it easier for you to read as a developer? So let's say you guys came and had to use my code. Would that still be readable for you? Let me try and break this down to you, and then I'll go back to the other set of code and you can decide which one you like the most. What actually happens here is whenever you do a while loop, every time before you go in here and execute something, the statement inside the while loop, which is not something something, will actually be executed, right? So in our case, we're asking if the console read line, whatever the user types in, to lowercase, does not contain L, then go in and write this line. If it does contain L, then break the while loop and go to the next line down here. Next lesson I'll show you that step by step. But it's very hard to read actually. So maybe a method would help us. We'll make that later, but let's just, for the fun of it, say that we went back to what we actually had. Like this. That's a lot easier to read. It's more lines of code, but it's easier to see them step by step what's actually going on here, right? So it's up to you how you want to do it. Myself, I've coded for a long time, so I get the one-liners make a lot of sense for me, but for new developers who's just getting into a language, it's very hard to see one-liners and understand one-liners, so for now I'll keep this, and it's okay that it's a lot of lines of code. Next time we'll try and use the debugger to step by step see what actually happens in the code. Have fun.